Hello, what's up guys? I'm Kyle from KGR, and this is the SH Figuarts Shikamaru Nara. Now this one I was very excited for because Shikamaru never had an SH Figuarts prior to this, so I'm very excited to open this up and compare it to other figures in the lineup, and by that I mean I'm just going to compare it to Naruto. Because I don't have anybody else in his team. In fact, they haven't made those yet, which I would love to see Ino and Choji. And I was very excited for this release. However, when we finally saw this figure unboxed and actually in people's hands, there was one face in particular we were not a fan of, and that face is right there. We will look at that in person because I am dreading that. Typically, the SH Figuarts Naruto line has been perfect. It's been fantastic. My only real complaint I noticed was with Kakashi. He didn't come with any ninja weapons or anything, or even his lightning blade, or anything that really made him Kakashi outside of having his book. No ninja tools, no jutsus, just Sharingans and a book. However, this one, on the other hand, does come with his shadow paralysis jutsu, which I'm very happy they did do that. I feel like when it comes to toy photography, people are probably just going to Photoshop them themselves. However, just having it on the shelf, having this right there, that's fantastic. That's perfect. And I love how the only other figure they compare it to in the lineup is the standard Naruto that it comes with, which, again, we have right here. So we'll do that. So then we got this look on the side. The shirt looks decent at that angle. And then the other side, we see him in some more poses, top, bottom. Yeah, for the most part, this figure does look pretty good on paper. So now let's see how it actually looks out of the box, because I'm a little nervous. I was going to ask, who else do you want to see in the lineup? Actually, who would you rather see first? Would you rather them complete the Oni Shikacho? Is that what it's called? I can't remember. Well, no, it's Ino Shikacho. What did I say the first time? Didn't sound right. Ooh. Point is, what would you rather see? Would you rather see Ino and Choji next? Or would you rather see a kid Shikamaru? Because I don't know which one I'd rather have more. Because I think a kid Shikamaru is very important. Because even then, he still cared for Naruto while nobody else did. But let's open this up real... Can we get this? Come on. There we go. And then we got this right here. And then they do the paper back for some reason. I'm not a huge fan of that. Because I know with the Naruto Top 99 figures, they were doing a good job of like keeping the color within the box itself. And then having the instructions being on the sides panels. However, this one is going to be a little bit more involved because of these little pockets right here. So we're probably going to need the instructions for that in particular. We'll get into the shadow clone here pretty soon, but first, let's open this figure and take a closer look at it. And I love the fact that this just easily just came off and nothing flew everywhere, but oh my god! Yeah, that face is not flattering. That's rough, buddy. I feel like having this face come with this figure, I feel like we're going to see a commercial, like, 50 years down the line saying, if you got this Shikamaru action figure and his face looks like this, you may be entitled for financial compensation and call this phone number. I'm kidding. But I hope that if he does get a re-release, which I doubt he will, can we get a better face? Because that's not good, brother. However, let's get a closer look at the figure itself. And this face that's on him by default definitely looks good. That definitely screams Shikamaru to me. That looks fine. In fact, I think it actually looks better compared to what we see on the prototype. The little ponytail, I feel like the spikes could be a little bit sharper. Like, I feel like the molding could have been a little bit higher quality. But I think it looks fine for the most part. I love how the, not chainmail, but whatever the Naruto equivalent is, where you see that looks good. It looks all nice and textured and detailed. It looks very good. However, the separation that you see on the back of his little jacket, not a huge fan of that. I don't know what's going on with that in particular. I want to assume that's just to prevent hindrance of articulation when it comes to him doing certain jutsus, maybe. Because I don't understand why that is. That just does not look good to me. I don't know why I like this pouch. But his pouch looks really good. That definitely is like a Naruto pouch. I like that. But here with the pockets, I guess you can interchange them to have it so he has his hands in his pockets, I guess. Alright, so yeah. So you just pop these off, and then you can either have his arm in without any hand attached or have it so his thumb goes into his pockets. That's kind of cool. Let's try swapping out the faces real quick. Let's see how the other faces look on him outside of the ugly one. Because I also like the look of this face. Yeah, this also looks pretty decent. I like this. Look at that. That is so cool looking. I have a small confession to make. I kind of like Boruto. I'm actually really enjoying Boruto. I'm not going to get into spoilers on where exactly I'm at. But I am in the Kara arc, and the stakes are very, very high, and it kind of reminds me very much of like the Pain Saga when it comes to Shippuden. At least I'm loving it as much as I love that. And when it comes to the slow build up to eventually get to these big arcs, it kind of reminds me of classic Naruto, where you're getting to know the characters, you're getting to know the world and all that stuff. I went into it with a very open mind, and I really love it, and I think one of my favorite characters within that show is Shikamaru's son. So that said, if you've seen Boruto, let me know in the comments who your favorite character is. Because I have a Boruto figure, and I would love to see a modern version of that with this newer standard and get other characters within that line. But I don't have space for that, so it's probably better off that we just get Shippuden. And I noticed how his hair is also, it looks like on a ball peg, and you can also rotate it if you need to. I wonder why they did that. That's interesting. I don't think that was necessary, but I guess it's a nice touch, I guess. Just so it doesn't pop off and break easy if it falls. So cool, thanks. And it's rubbery, so that's probably why the molding is the way it is. If it was like a harder plastic that would actually hurt you if you actually touched it, then I feel like it probably would have looked better. But having it be at like the little rubbery texture that it is, and just have it rotate on a ball peg from what it looks like or feels like, that was probably a better call for stability-wise later. So cool, thanks. So we also get some really awesome jutsu hands that are already posed next to each other, because with Naruto characters, they're doing ninjutsus, like they're doing jutsu hand things, okay? So seeing that on an action figure with these is so awesome. I'm so happy they include this. Now my question is, do they separate? Because I really hope they don't, because it'll be a pain to get them back together. And from what it feels like, these are essentially like glued together. Because it doesn't look like they're molded together, because you can see the separation within the fingers. So that looks fantastic. I'm happy that they're technically separate pieces, but they're like together. Look at that. I love that. And then also we have this right here, which let me know in the comments. Do you know exactly what these ones are called? Because these do have names to them. And I remember when I first got into Naruto after high school, I tried to learn all these, and it was so fun. It was a fun time, like, first getting into Naruto. I got into Naruto very late, by the way. We were, like, well into Shippuden before I got into it. But it's the Naruto Storm games, specifically Storm Generations, is what got me into Naruto as a whole. In fact, not only do I still have my copy for when I first started playing it, I wish I still had the promo cards that came with it, but I gave this to my neighbors because they actually, like, played the game, like a card game, and collected them. But we're gonna at least just have it on display like that because I like that. Let's also check out a few of the other faces. The pegs are like angled, and it looks really weird. At least mine are angled. I'm not sure if all of them are gonna be angled like that, but I do like this face. This is really fun. I feel like when it comes to that Ichiraku ramen set, this is gonna be a great face to have with that diorama with Naruto. So that is fantastic. In fact, let's take off this fist and put on this hand, and then have it so he has his hand behind his head. That looks good. I love that. But you know what makes it look even better? When he has his best friend next to him in a very similar pose. Now, this Naruto in particular is the Naruto Top 99 one, and it's this face in particular that made me buy this. Like, I love this so much. This looks so good. And I think that's my favorite reason why I picked up the Shikamaru, because it's Naruto's best friend, and they do look very good next to each other. There are many poses that you could put them in together to make it look like they're really, like, working well with each other, which, from what I remember, you don't see them battling together too much. However, if we do end up seeing stuff later, like the Ino Shikacho whole team all together, that'd be fantastic. But for now, I'm very happy with having Shikamaru with my Naruto. Now, I'm not sure about this face. I don't really know a good way to implement this guy. However, I do want to put on the one face where he's looking to the side. because I do like this face. This one definitely screams like, yo, I'm serious, we're about to get into combat. So we're going to take off this fist, and we're going to swap it out for this fist. And this one is special because you could take off the fingertips from what it looks like to slide in the chakra blade that he gets from his sensei. I love how he comes with that as well as the lighter. Part of me thinks it would have been cool if they would have kept those out, so when you do get Asuma and then pair those with Shikamaru with his exclusive hands and everything, that would probably come with them. That, I think, would have been a great attention to detail. However, having it with the figure, I'm very happy, because I feel like people would have been very upset if he didn't come with those, unless they release them together. I'm trying to see how you gotta separate the hand, but I am not having an easy time doing that. There we go. You gotta pretty much like rip it off. And I like how they allow you to separate the hand to get that in perfectly. So I feel like it would have been a struggle to try to force it in the hand and end up breaking the chakra blade, and we don't want that. But I think I did it wrong. I probably should have kept like looking at the instructions. There we go. So we gotta lay it in like that with the hand. And be careful not to drop his fingers. There we go. Now that looks amazing. Except for that hair. Get rid of that hair. Put that there. And then there we go. Look at that. That's so cool. Yeah, now I can see why they separated the little shoulders right here, because the elbows would have been severely hindered because of this. So even though this is a very ugly design, I'm happy that they did separate it just so you can have that movement. But take a look at that. That looks so good. I love this so much. Again, that back does look pretty rough, but when you're in this pose, you're not going to be looking at it from the back. And just like the new Naruto, the posability on his ab crunch is fantastic. Like, look at that. Like, you can take him all the way back like that. You can take him all the way front like that. Like, I love how dynamic these figures can get. SH Figuarts, well, Tamashii Nations as a whole has really like upped their quality when it comes to articulation and having a good looking figure, except for the one face for Shikamaru. That was unfortunate. However, this figure is solid. This looks so good. And looking at this, looking at the back, it shows them with kunai, but this Shikamaru doesn't come with a kunai. What? Do you assume that I have every Naruto figure in the line to have Naruto have multiple kunai so they can do things together? Well, yeah, I do. I do, actually. And even then, I think Naruto comes with 2 kunai anyway. I'm just exaggerating. It's fine. I'm not going to replicate it, but the picture of them just attacking next to each other, so cool. I love that so much. I think I'm going to put them in a few more poses. The next one I want to do is I want to have him with the lighter. But while we're at it, let's take off this. Okay, that came off really easy. Does it say which one's left or right? No, you just gotta pretty much guess. Okay, so this one looks like this goes in, right? There we go. Cool. So, I think I'm just gonna have his thumb go in. But we're gonna swap out the face so it has the winking face, because he's about to torch somebody after burying a certain someone. I'm not gonna spoil it, even though Naruto Shippuden's been out for a number of years now. It's still a great story, and I love replaying it in Naruto Storm 2. You know what? No. Let's take off that hand and tuck his pocket in, just so you could see how easy that is. Now, is it supposed to, like, actually pop in? Because it looks like it's supposed to actually pop in. There we go. Okay, so I do have it actually in, like it technically does pop in. It is a little bit of a pain to get it in there. However, I noticed with other figures, like from the amazing Yamaguchi figures from Reveltech, I've seen a number that are My Hero figures that do that same type of feature. However, the amount of wiggle room they give you to put the hand in the pocket, I feel like there's no wiggle room. I feel like he has to be in an arch in order for him to properly do it right. While with this feels relatively natural. Like this looks like this would be a real pose with him like having it in his pocket. I'm not a huge fan of this little winking face. I feel like there could be like, I can't really think of a better face to pair with this. I guess we'll do the standard one. I feel like this is probably going to be a universally used face. I like this face a lot. I think this is such a good looking figure. I think they did a really great job with this for the most part. Like, when it comes to a Shikamaru figure, this is mostly everything I want. They did a good job with this. I just wish that one face just looked better. Speaking of, we're going to use it. Okay, so we're going to take that pocket out, put this regular pocket back on. And it's not really much of a pain to get them in and out. And from what it feels like it slides right into place and it goes in with ease, but it doesn't feel like it's going to come out too easily either. So, good job on that. We're going to take this out. We're going to take out this face. And we're going to do the very ugly, straight looking face. Oof. Which, by the way, if you do plan on putting him in poses like where you do see his joints like that, if you can, try to hide this part right here, because when it comes to photography and just posing on the shelf, it definitely looks a lot cleaner when you have that hidden. What's difficult about doing like jutsu hands like this is the shoulders and the elbows, at least if you want to make it look good, need to have a perfect symmetry. And I find it a little bit difficult to do that sometimes. At least I struggle with that. So the people who do it for the promo photos, props to you, because that is difficult. It's very underappreciated that they can achieve that. But thankfully, with these hands being together, it makes it a little bit easier to try and replicate that. But I love SH Figuarts so much for making it easy to make these little crouching poses, or even like power stances when they land, you know? Like, it's so underappreciated. Like, go Tamashii Nations. So now that we have him posed, ready for the Shadow Paralysis Jutsu, we gotta have the final touch. We gotta pull this out and actually lay it on him. And since it's a plastic piece, I want to assume there's like a protective thing on both sides, maybe? Nope. Which honestly, thank goodness, because it makes my life a whole lot easier. Like, just having it in this, that's good. Thank you. So we're gonna have him like that. And there it is. The Shadow Paralysis Jutsu. That looks so stinking good. And you can feel how it's printed on the other side. That's interesting. But since we already have him in this pose for the most part, let's swap out the hands to do these jutsu hands. And there he is with a jutsu hand. This looks mostly good. The face kills it. But like him in that stance with the hands being together like that, and again, them being glued next to each other, is such a good call. I'm so happy they went with that. And he does come with hands to hold the kunai as well, even though he doesn't come with kunai. So I'm happy they included that. But overall, that concludes the unboxing for this guy. I think he's worth it. I'm not sure if it's worth waiting to see if there's gonna be an extra release of him, because I'm not sure if he's getting reprinted or not. So I'd say get him while you can. Although that face does kind of kill it. I have a very good feeling that they are gonna do a Naruto Top 99 version of Shikamaru, since they're doing what feels like every other character on that thing at this point. They haven't done a new one since who was the last character that got put out? Kakashi, I think, for last year's Comic-Con. While I'm at it, I'm just gonna take a look at what it looks like. I feel like the colors would be pretty similar to how Kakashi looks. How like his outfit would probably be more black. The colors on his vest will be a lot more vibrant. But it still comes with the chakra blade, but it actually has chakra on it. So I'm very excited to see that when that comes out, if that ever comes out. I think having chakra actually be on the blade would have been a really good call. I kind of wish they would have went with that. But let me know in the comments, what would you rather do? Would you rather get this Shikamaru since this is the only one available right now? Or are you willing to be patient and see if they make a Naruto Top 99 Shikamaru? Because even though the colors won't match the rest of the lineup, the faces will definitely probably look better, hopefully. And it'll come with that chakra infused chakra blade, so that could look a lot better when it comes to photography or even just posing on your shelf. Again, if you're doing toy photography, most people end up doing Photoshop, so putting the chakra around the chakra blade probably won't be too difficult for them. However, I am curious to see what an actual chakra-infused chakra blade could look like as an action figure. But as far as I'm aware, when it comes to this whole lineup, they haven't done even a statue for Shikamaru, because they've done some statues of them in these poses already. But I'm so happy to have this. I loved this a lot more than I expected, to be completely honest. I was happy that Shikamaru was coming out, but like, I didn't expect to love him as much as I do. However, when other figures come out, like Hinata, or Tsunade, or the new Jiraiya, and I forget who else I have pre-ordered, I do plan on getting those as soon as possible, so if you want to see those unboxings, make sure you sub for that. And if you want to grab one of these yourself, there'll be multiple links down below on where you can pick it up. And that pretty much wraps up for the video. So if you're new and you like what you saw, you know what to do. The description is going to have places to order, as well as my link tree if you want to follow me on anything else. But thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys to death. And I'll see you on the next one. So peace, peace.